Trainer Joe, how to eat out a lot. Eating out a lot, typically you think, not a good idea when you're trying to lose weight, but can you turn it into a good thing?
One of my first 21-day transformations many years ago, over 10 years ago, we had a husband and wife in the group. And there was about 30 people in the group. And in 21 days, they were the two biggest losers. He was the biggest male loser. She was the biggest female loser.
Losing, what, around 15 pounds or so?
She lost like 18. He lost like 30. He was a big guy. He was a big guy. Okay, so they had a lot to work with. But regardless, they were the biggest losers. And one interesting piece to that, people were saying, did you ever eat out? And I remember he said, we ate out for every meal except one. We ate out every meal. And people are like, how can you eat out and lose that weight? So I want people to, and I'm fine when people are doing my program and they say, I'm not eating out because it's too hard. Fine. If it's too hard, fine. But certainly you can eat out a lot and still lose weight.
Break it down for us.
All right. So I want
secrets.
Let's talk about when I go to, I've talked about going to Red Lobster.
You're a good example.
And having the boundaries in that. And we ordered our meal and they brought out these Cheddar Bay biscuits. And my mother-in-law said, Joe, aren't you going to eat any of those? And I told her what I ordered, because I ordered salmon and broccoli and potato and sour cream and a salad with croutons and cheese. And she said, well, aren't you going to eat Cheddar Bay biscuits? And I think this is a big piece of what it comes down to. It's really, you can eat anything you want and still lose weight. You just can't eat everything. And I told her, I said, well, Mimi, I'm eating this big meal, right? It wasn't depriving me in any way, other than I wasn't going to eat Cheddar Bay biscuits or dessert or have a Coke, right? I was going to eat my meal. That's what gets people in trouble a lot. It's like, do you have any boundaries when you go into it? So the first thing I would say is, if it's something you've struggled with and you tend to overdo it, decide what you're going to do when you get there. Don't wait.
Isn't it fascinating that what you just described actually seems peculiar when most people go out to eat? You just described a very big meal, and yet you foregoing the biscuits, you actually are looked at kind of weird.
That's the problem.
That's what's weird. Rather than the opposite.
People start eating healthy. We act like they're on a diet. They don't get dessert. And we're like, oh, you must be on a diet if you don't get dessert. No, I'm trying to be a normal person. I'm trying to be a normal person. Why aren't you eating Cheddar Bay biscuits? They're free. Because I want to be a normal person. I don't want to be a large person. So that's going to be key. Just like going to Panera.
Talk to us about Panera.
You can go in. I remember I went in one time and I saw one of the people in my group. A young lady was in my group, and she saw me. And sometimes they get nervous, like, "Oh, am I eating something I'm not supposed to be eating?" Trainer Joe's in the room. And I went over and said, "Hey," and she was eating the soup, butternut squash soup.
Not in a bread bowl.
And the interesting thing is she was like, "Is this on the list?" And part of me was like, "Who cares if it's on the list? That's all you got. All you got is a bowl of soup."
Okay, so in a bowl, not a
in
bread
a bowl,
bowl.
And not a bread bowl. But see, that's the thing. A lot of people think, well, for lunch, I'm just going to have soup, and they have a bread, and they have a cookie, and they have 2 Dr. Peppers, and then the soup's in a bowl, and then it's like, what the heck did you just eat?
I didn't eat very much, just a small thing of
soup. You can eat out.
I didn't eat a big piece of chicken,
right,
with a lot of rice.
I was eating with one guy.
Should have done that.
Another example of how a lot of people do Panera. I was eating with one guy. He was in the health industry. And we were just there to have lunch together. And he ordered, with his meal, a blueberry scone and a lemonade.
This is still a Panera?
Yeah, Panera. And we ordered our meals. And while we're waiting for our meal, for our lunch, and this guy was obese. He would admit he was obese. While we're waiting for our meal, he eats a blueberry scone, because they are able to give that to you immediately. He eats a blueberry scone and drinks an entire lemonade while waiting for lunch. And it's like, bro, you just had lunch.
It is crazy
if you're obese and wanting to lose. Now, he probably didn't want to lose weight. Didn't care. That's fine. I don't care if he eats scones and lemonade every day.
Lemonade, just the sugar amount in lemonade, the calories in the scone, that is
you had lunch.
Probably more calories than a...
Yeah, then I had a big salad with chicken and everything with it, and all that. It's like, and I'm not trying to lose weight. Guess why I'm not trying to lose weight? Because I don't eat a blueberry scone and lemonade before lunch. So there's this mindset. What do you get at Chipotle? Tell a story about when you worked at, because this is given an idea, what are the mindsets, how are they different between an overweight and non-overweight person? When you worked at Moe's, and it was on Moe's Monday, it would be so busy you couldn't hardly look up, and based on what they were ordering,
really?
you told me
You're
one
making me
time.
sound judgmental.
Don't be judgmental, just what did we learn? What were you learning?
I haven't thought about this story in a while. So I was working the Moe's line, and Moe's Monday is when you get a special deal. And it used to be, it's not necessarily that way anymore, but the line was just massive. So we were having to go quick.
Do people know what Moe's is?
Moe's, similar to Chipotle or Qdoba, same concept. And they'd come through, and we were just trying to fly. So we weren't really even we weren't even looking up, just get them through. But we would always ask them, would you like queso with that? And yeah, I got pretty good just based off of their voice, and if they said yes to queso, being able to pinpoint the type of person that was ordering it. Were they a larger? Were they a large? Well, no, here's one caveat: were they a large person, or if they said no to queso, probably a smaller person. But there was the caveat of when the soccer players from the local Christian school would come through, they would order queso, having just burnt 2,000 calories.
Okay, so you give them a pass.
We'll give them a pass.
See, it's like, what do you order? It's like, well, what are you doing? You don't have to, when you go get fajitas or Chipotle, you don't have to get it in, you don't have to wrap it in 1,000-calorie tortilla. You don't have to add queso, but you can eat there.
You can eat there. And that actually could be a good option.
It is a good
like
option.
For people that lost the most weight.
Yeah, you can eat there every day. But what I would get at Chipotle, particularly if I'm trying to lose weight, is I would double the protein.
Sure.
Right? Because it's almost like a whole other meal. And eat half the bowl. So I would get double chicken, let's say, or double whatever meat you prefer, I'm okay with. But then you have 2 meals. You don't just sit there and think that's one meal. Who eats a bowl? I remember eating with my daughter one time. And she was hungry and I was hungry. And we both had Chipotle and we were sitting. We were at somebody's house eating. And suddenly I looked up and her whole bowl was gone. And she was thinking, why am I a little, maybe 2 pounds, 3 pounds, just a little heavier than she wants to be. And I'm like, hey,
Jules. We're throwing everyone under the bus.
Hey, Jules, you realize that was fine to eat that. But you also probably only needed half to be where you want to be in life. And that's the thing. Where do you want to be in life? Are you going to go in Chipotle and order the whole thing with sour cream and cheese and queso and then have them put it in how many calories in the wrap? 500 calories in the wrap.
Yeah, 600 something.
It's got some calories in it. And a big soft drink and chips and salsa. And you got queso you're dipping your chips in. And think you're going to be a good weight?
Let me ask you this. Is the bigger focus in your mind the ingredients that you put on your bowl or cutting the bowl in half?
They work together because the mindset of the person that's not cutting the bowl in half is also the person that says, well, yeah, I want chips. Yeah, I want queso. Why wouldn't I put all these things that I like on my bowl? And then they wonder, why do I need to go on a diet? Well, you didn't have any boundaries in the way you did that. So now you're going to have boundaries over here.
Well, to be fair, too, the people that went out to eat a lot of times and lost the most weight, they were eating from your food list.
They still abided by rules.
Going to Chipotle, it would have been probably, let's get all the meat on there, let's do the rice.
They weren't doing queso, they weren't doing chips, they weren't doing sour cream, they weren't doing cheese, So they were removing a lot of things, but they were eating out. And sometimes that's just a blessing. I just want to eat out. I don't have to be able to get my favorite thing, but it's nice to be able to go out. I can get a salmon salad. I'm not necessarily putting gravy on it.
Well,
you're getting dessert.
Little tip, I was on a model diet years ago, and I would go to Qdoba and Chipotle quite often, eating from a similar food list to yours, and it was very fun for me to pick out the meat and then load up on salsa. That was on on the list. Load up on salsa, load up on the different spicy salsas, get creative, load up on lettuce to make the bowl seem bigger.
You play the games you need to play.
I really enjoyed my Moe's and Chipotle, even though I couldn't do the sour cream or cheese.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you remove half of the things you like out of your life because you're on a mission to get healthier, whatever those things were. Then you find, well, what things bring me joy still? Because there's still going to be some things to bring you joy. And that's part of it too. Can you go out to eat at, let's see, another one. A nicer restaurant that serves appetizers.
Appetit.
How are you going to do that? And then again, it's like, do you have to get certain foods or can you eat certain amounts? to me, they go together. And to become a more intuitive eater where you just eat what you want, you have adopted some level of, I need some healthy foods. You're not just going to, I'll just eat crap and only eat a little of it. And you realize, I'm not going to feel the way I want to feel. So when you go someplace and they have appetizers, I would look, well, what are they? Do they have a shrimp appetizer that's grilled? What do they call those? Shrimp scampi?
Yeah. Oh, I don't think scampi, just where they're all around.
Yeah, all around, like they have it.
Scampi's the noodle dish, I think.
Okay, shrimp. Oh, that's right.
Cocktail.
Okay. And then can that be your meal? Right? If you're trying to lose weight, do you need that, then lobster and steak? So that's how a lot of people operate. They're like, I'll have this for an appetizer. Whereas what you really probably need to do is the appetizer needs to become your meal. When you're trying to lose. Now, you're not trying to lose. Again, it goes back to the Red Lobster example. What, you can eat everything they offer you just because they offer it? That's the heavy set mind. Well, it's good. I like it. They offered it. It comes with it. The biscuits come with it, so I eat them. Let's say you go to Cracker Barrel. Well, they're going to bring out for free, they did last time we were there.
Oh, and they were good.
Biscuits and cornbread muffins. Are you really going to eat 2 or 3 of those and think that's a normal way to approach going someplace and eating? No. When I send out the text, it says, if you're obese, it's because you live an obese lifestyle. That's what you're doing. When you go in a place and you're like, well, they serve biscuits, they serve cornbread. With these apples, it's wonderful. And apples, these steamed fried apples are good for you, right? And suddenly you've had 2 meals because you thought that was normal. It ain't normal unless obesity is normal. There you go. What about fast food?
I was going to ask you go ahead. Moving to fast food. Can it be done?
Can it be done? Again, it's if you feel entitled and that you're being deprived and you should be able to eat whatever you want, that's what you're going to do. But if you're like, I'm on a mission, I get to enjoy my life, I get to enjoy foods I like, but I'm not going to just be able to order whatever I want wherever I go and have the life I want. If you're not willing to go there, and a lot of people aren't, I'm just not going to, okay, sure, then you're not going to do it. But you can go. I remember when I was more strict for a period of time for various reasons, I went to like a Burger King or something for breakfast. And I'm like, and I was only eating certain foods. And I got a couple of scrambled eggs and a tomato.
A whole tomato?
No, some sliced tomato. You think they just hand people tomatoes?
It sounded peculiar.
Here's your tomato.
Maybe you would try to pull that off.
Can I have an entire tomato? So
that'll be $1.
Yeah, $5. And maybe some grilled chicken. Most fast food restaurants you can find, well, the grilled chicken maybe not, eggs, tomato, and a lot of places you can get grilled chicken nuggets. Get grilled.
Yeah. Chick-fil-A.
And there you go. Where can you not find a fast food, even salad with grilled chicken on it? Most places have things like that. But a lot of people go there and they're like, why would I go to Cracker Barrel and not eat pancakes for breakfast, right? That's what a lot of people think. Why would I go to a place that has Cheesecake Factory and not eat cheesecake?
It's flipping the script on what is normal and what is weird. Oh, I could never go to Cracker Barrel and not get pancakes. Okay, well, you need to flip the script. I can go to Cracker Barrel and get healthier options.
And not get pancakes.
And not get the same with, I could never go to Chick-fil-A and not get fries.
Right, waffle fries. You got to eat waffle fries at Chick-fil-A.
You need to flip your script. I could never not dip my fries or my nuggets into the Chick-fil-A sauce. That's an additional 80 calories or something.
Isn't it becoming obvious why you have a problem when that's the conversation you're having?
How can someone that is sitting here listening like, oh yeah, that's exactly me. I am clearly what is normal to me should be abnormal, and what is abnormal should be my normal.
First, you got to see it, because a lot of people see it, and you have to want it to be. You want it to be okay to change. A lot of people are like, that would take too much joy from my life to go into Cracker Barrel and not be able to get what I like. That would take too much joy from. Okay, then you're not going to do it. If you can't find joy in changing the way you feel and look, your health, how long you're going to live, how it affects your family, if you can't get enough joy out of that, then you're going to go and eat your pancakes.
Yeah, that's a good word. That's a good word.
McDonald's. Let's say you're not being especially strict with what you eat, and you're going to go to McDonald's.
Can I share what I got for breakfast when I was on a real strict diet? I went in and said, "Can I have 2 eggs?" They ask you how you want them. I said scrambled, and the oatmeal. And it came with a little baggie of apples. Very good breakfast.
Yeah.
Would look weird to most.
There you go. And some might complain and say, well, oatmeal has chemicals in it. We're not really going down that route. You can be as healthy as you want, avoid whatever you want. But to go in and order 2 scrambled eggs and oatmeal, who's thinking like that?
Yeah.
Not an overweight person. They're going to be getting some kind of biscuit, some kind of hash browns, maybe 2 hash browns, and think, well, I didn't eat that much. Yeah, we got to work on the way you look at it, the way you think about it. Because I would get, for me, an Egg McMuffin and add tomato. Okay, well, what about a big drink? What about the fries? What about the tater tot? Is that what they call it, fried potato? All those things, it's like, yeah, we feel entitled. That's what gets us into the most trouble. We feel entitled. I should be able to go and enjoy all of the good things that they offer.
And that's why it's tricky to go out to eat, because at home, you don't have that kind of like,
order whatever you want.
It's I'm at home, this is the norm. Suddenly you're out to eat and you have that kind of light switch of like, this is a special occasion. That, at least for a lot of, us as growing up, oh, it's a special occasion to go out with my family. We treat it as such. This is when I get my soft drinks. This is when I get my appetizers, my fries on the side. And you almost have to learn to shut that off a little bit.
You feel some obligation to eat it all because you paid for it, right? So Get used to either being okay with wasting it, because you're going to waste it in the wastebasket or waste it in your belly. Where's the worst waste? In your belly. That's damaging to you. Or take it home, but don't feel like you need to eat it. That gets a lot of people in trouble. There's this virtuous thing that I'm not going to waste food, because that's not virtuous. Not when it's packing pounds on your body. That is not virtuous. You need to do something else with your extras.
It's good.
That's all I got.
That's good. Guys, all right, just round it out here, Trainer Joe. Spitfire, 4 restaurants out of the thousands, hundreds of restaurants, 50, 100, whatever, how many there are.
Thousands.
Chain restaurants that most people have heard of. Spitfire 4 that probably are going to be high on your list.
Easier. One just left town. Really not happy about that, and that was Core Life. Great stuff.
Still might be around you, though.
Another would be Whole Foods, where you go through the salad bar and you pick what you want, because you can pick what you want right off the salad bar and the grilled meats and that sort of thing. And then I do Panera a lot. They got several salad options that are good. And what was the other one?
Chipotle.
Boom. And Chipotle
there
makes
you go.
It easy, and I really like it.
Let us know in the comment section, as you are thinking through, this healthy person lifestyle and making your changes, have you found a go-to that you find you can eat, you can feel good about going there, you leave satisfied, but not abusing the calories? Let us know your favorite. Also, what stood out to you in this video? Did you hear something that you were like, yeah, that's very good?
Yeah, appreciate y'all saying what resonated with you the most.
Keep the comments going and keep the dialogue flowing. Trainer Joe, train your brain.
Transform your body.